works today in this stuff. I was given some advice on ways to improve the way you do PowerPoints on Zoom. So let's see what happens. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So the topic of the first 10 minutes is collaboration, or really, should I say? Hang on a second, if I can get it to actually, or should I say collaboration with a question mark? So I started by looking at doing a couple of searches on Google, and the first one I found was how to collaborate effectively, and there are 91,200,000 points of reference there, which is rather a lot. I didn't read them all, I have to say. So then I tried to narrow it a little bit more and said keys to collaborative partnerships, and there are still 3.1 million articles there. I confess I read a couple just to remind myself, but I started with the definition of collaboration according to, I think it was the Wikipedia dictionary or one of those internet dictionaries. And collaboration in business is what I focused on rather than collaborations within a business. Between folk like the members of the Thrive, why would we do this? Because it will allow us to deliver better results than we could do individually. And that's the whole point of collaboration, is it's to, as a team, you can contribute more than individuals people can do. So how about a couple of examples? And I'm going to see if this will play. Okay. No. No sound, or do you have sound? Yeah, okay, good. Nobody takes it.
Okay, pivotara. Pomelo?
Right. So, no, there we go. So, how about some real examples of collaboration in business? So, anybody here remember the Apollo program as much as I do? That was probably the world's greatest example of collaborative effort between multiple organizations and multiple people, with 400,000 engineers, 20,000 private companies and universities. And the reason it worked were very clear goals, a committed team, and superb communication amongst that team during the process. Now, there were lots of failures along the way, but ultimately they had a great success. On the other side of the coin, another one from NASA, the Challenger disaster. This was a great example of poor collaboration. And when you look at the assessment reports, failures in communication, incomplete and sometimes just misleading information being passed around, a conflict between engineering, data and management, which to me was one of the biggest contributors to this, and a NASA management system that permitted this internal flight safety problem to bypass shuttle managers, the people who actually knew what they were talking about. But the key one for me was the board on the Columbia disaster that said organizational barriers prevented effective communication of critical safety information. And it's so what you get when you look at all those things is that there's a bunch of common barriers to communication, to collaboration, should I say. And I think these top three are the ones that are the most important for a group like us to consider. So the first thing is there's a lack of alignment around goals. If you don't know what you're doing and if you don't know where you're going, it's really difficult for you to actually achieve the objective. So actually, we must all be chasing the same outcome when we collaborate. The second thing for me is all about trust. Participants must respect and trust each other. If you know that somebody else is going to do the bit that they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, you can relax and not worry about what other people are doing, and you can focus on your own piece. And the third part, self-interest. So many collaborations that I saw in my software implementation career when I was running software companies were self-interested parties that were supposed to be collaborating on a project that were only interested in what they got out of it and prioritize that above the group whole. On top of that, you've got the other bits and pieces like mindset, listening skills, knowledge deficits, and all those kind of things. But for me, those three at the top are the most important ones. So I thought I'd take a look at keys to successful collaborative partnerships. And again, getting everybody on the same page for me, that means really understanding what we're trying to do, what the benefit to each of us and the customer is, and then being willing to commit and trust that the rest of the team will do their bit. So it really is about making sure that you go into a project with the right intent in mind. You could use Stephen Covey's habit, start with the end in mind, etc., etc. But once you've actually got everybody on the same page, you then need some other pieces. You need to have communications, regular, clear, good governance. You need the skills. You need to know what each individual's contribution to a project would be and why that skill is important to them. And you need to get everything focused around the appropriate tools. And I'd love to get people's feedback on what they think the appropriate tools and technology would be for a collaborative project. I personally think that governance is something that's missed in a lot of collaboration projects. We tend to jump into a collaboration as an individual, and we tend not to have a governance process in place at the beginning to make sure that we're staying on track and that everything is going the way it's supposed to go. Apollo was a masterclass in collaboration, but a little bit more than we could possibly achieve as a group. I don't think we're quite up to that number of people. But as we've seen, we've got a diverse bunch of skills in the group, and with that we can do great things. Yeah. So I just thought I'd share one more example of good collaboration just to finish off with a smile on your face. And here we go. I love these guys. I think they're funny. Yeah, that was from a travel agency, that one. Oh, okay. So I guess the questions I would pose to the group really are, when you are considering collaborating with others, what is the first thing you think about when you decide whether you're going to join a group that's collaborating on a project? And how would you want to be communicated with, and how would you want to communicate to others your component part of the project? But anyway, I hope that's a reasonable introduction to collaboration, and I will pass the ball back to you, John.
Thank you very much indeed. Very, very interesting. Frank, I'm going to come to you first this morning. You've got a vast experience of